Science. Tonight we investigate the origins of man. Man's origins. The origins of science. What is science? Is it in fact 괰ᴇᴄᴇᴅ, or is it in fact man's greatest intellectual gift? The origins of science. In this video I've donned, as you can see, square glasses that are very scientific. I've also donned a lab coat, which gives me the appearance of also having a higher IQ. These two features clearly scientifically proven to improve my IQ and your perception of me as objective, altruistic, and therefore scientifically true. What is the origin of man? What is the origin of science? Science is not, in fact, faking gay, but is in fact real and straight, but also at times could be gay, because there's nothing morally ever right or wrong. All morals are whatever you want them to be, because science is the investigation of facts, not fiction. Let's go to the origins of man. What are man's origins? Is man created by sky fairies? Is there spaghetti monsters that float that make man into their image? No. Man is the creation of science. Science is the casing upon the tip of the weenus that tells you can put that anywhere. And in fact, you should put that anywhere. And if you do not, you're a victim of bigotry. Scientific studies have shown definitively that bigotry is the result of lack of science. Science is connected with education, culture. In fact, there are now apps that are being produced which can contabulate the moral calculus that Jeremy Bentham gave us to know the pleasure principles and the pleasure points, wherein through scientific science calculus we can determine the greatest number of pleasure for the greatest number of beings through pleasure points. Science is the Luciferian Bunsen burner of my intellect, burning a hole through your soul. Quite contrary to the existence of flying gods, the rational theories of science tell us that the most likely origin of man's origins is Panspermia. This is the very rational theory held by many geniuses of the West, that our alien creators at one time in the ancient primal past came to us in the form of visitors who then seeded through this Panspermia the primordial muck, or the primordial soup. As you can see here in this diagram, this is clearly the most rational and only rational position that any scientific person could take. Indeed, the existence of some deity, some disembodied force that flies around through space and creates man upon some worthless uninhabitable planet is pure poppycock. However, there is much evidence to support the possibility of our alien brothers seeding us here upon the planet of Earth. For millennia, mankind and womankind was trapped in superstition, patriarchal domination, as men dominated the weaker and the lesser. Although Darwinism, which is the true story of mankind throughout history and through the aeons, definitely favors the survival of the fittest over the weakest. In fact, it is patriarchy that oppressed and kept down the women, as you can see in this drawing here. Following upon many more millennia of evolving, the species then grew to understand through its secret knowledge, namely through these societies, that science was the key to understanding and unlocking all of nature's secrets. Through this, we learned that all have rights. Rights come from nature. Rights have evolved. Rights have evolved out of matter, just like everything evolved out of matter and out of nothing to be what it is. Consciousness, although it has no definition and has no substance, we can't see it, we can't define it, it in fact is what gives us the ability to do science, and therefore to determine that all have rights, and the right of every individual to determine his or her or its reality, even though there is no objective reality. Science, in fact, comes out of the ancient heroes of truth, the ancient troubadours, the ancient pioneers, those who would fight for the rights of all against tyranny and oppression, those who would seek to raise the IQs of all. Science, in fact, has nothing to do with ideology. It's completely neutral. Science has nothing to do with morals or this or that. It's solely based on facts and has absolutely nothing to do with anything conspiratorial or secretive in nature. Because science is based, you see, on what works. And although when I talk about something working, it seems to suggest a value system, it really doesn't, because I make those values as I determine what truth is. Although I also don't determine what truth is, because truth is objective. Because truth is not objective, it's actually relative. And truth is relative because it's objectively true that truth is relative. And truth is relative because it's relatively true that truth is objective when I relatively say that truth is objective. And so therefore all is relative, except for the fact that all is relative, which is objectively true. If you don't believe and understand this, it is because of your low unevolved IQ numbers, down in the double digits, and because you are not. Now, I've been acting quite ridiculous, but if you weren't aware, much of what I said really illustrates the facts, doesn't it? The facts about evolution, the facts about science.